Would a 10x in your entire portfolio change your life? Some of you might be saying, nah, not really. I'm only starting in crypto with like a couple of thousand. And although 10x in that would be nice, it's not really going to change my life. But I think for a lot of you, a 10x in your entire portfolio, if you're going from 10,000 or even 50,000 or even 100,000, a 10x on that will allow you to put that deposit on that dream house you've been looking at, or allow you to take some time off from work and start a business, travel the world, or just to have a nice nest egg for your future and your savings and your own peace of mind. Now, if you are watching this video, it's likely that you're quite locked in on crypto. You're really trying to do very well in this cycle. You're probably in your second cycle, maybe even your third cycle at this point. I don't think most people watching, I don't think this is probably your first cycle, because most newcomers haven't come yet. So we're still somewhat early in the cycle now. Getting a 10x on your entire portfolio would have been a lot easier if you're starting last year, but I would not say it's impossible at this point. Obviously, you're going to have to take a little bit more risk. But I think it is quite likely that you are experienced in crypto and you're kind of thinking, I can actually do better than a 10x. But I would be kind of careful of thinking that you'll be able to 100x your portfolio, because there's so many people just like you who have tried to 100x their portfolio and only ending up with like a 2 or a 3x. I think it's quite likely, or it's possible, that you would actually outperform by having this is what I want to help you construct in this video, a kind of a hands-off long-term investment portfolio that you let the cycle run its course and potentially take some profits towards the latter half of the cycle or the end of the cycle. And you let these investments just play out. You don't tinker with the portfolio too much. You don't be trading in and out. You don't be buying short-term things. You just let these investments run their course and sell when near enough when the time is right. So like I said, we're probably halfway through the bull market, or who knows how far we are through the bull market. But if you actually wanted a 10x in your entire portfolio, it's not going to be enough to have you're going to have to take a bit more risk. Like, you can't just have the majority of your portfolio in Bitcoin and Ethereum if this is what you're going for, because Bitcoin and Ethereum, in a good case scenario, are going to go 2 to 3x, maybe 4x in a really good scenario. So if you have 80% of your portfolio, which is probably the best idea for a lot of people, but in this video we're trying to get a 10x, you can't unfortunately do that and take the lower risk option. We're going to have different bags for our core bags. And for me, you can choose whatever core bags you want to. This is just after 7 years doing crypto, these are the assets and the investments I've built the most conviction in personally. So I would highly advise against completely copying me, but come up with your own convictions, and you can look into anything I mentioned in this video, watch my previous videos on them if you want. But my core bags would be Solana and Coinbase stock. I think between them they can do anywhere from like 4x to maybe 8x in a good case scenario. So yeah, even in the best case scenario, I don't think they go 10x by themselves. So obviously they're this kind of safe plays, the core bags, but with the rest of the portfolio we're going to have to take even more risk. If we want a 10x overall, we're going to need something that can go 10 to 20x. So on average, in a good case scenario, we should have a 10x overall. So where could you go further down the risk curve that could actually deliver that 10 to 20x? Personally, this is my own bag, but it doesn't have to be this bag in any case. This is just my main position at the moment is dog with hat, the top meme coin on Solana. That's because I'm very bullish on Solana. It's my main bag. Solana is my main bag. I think it's still going to be the main trade of the cycle. So if that's the main trade of the cycle, and that can deliver anywhere from 4 to 8x, I think with probably doubles Solana's return in a good case scenario. So we're anywhere from 8 to 20x in a good case scenario, in my opinion. Now, do I think you have to go ahead and buy WIF? No, but I think any of the big meme coins, like the good meme coins, could deliver similar returns. Something like Pepe, if you're more bullish on Ethereum, or you think Pepe is a better meme. So even further down the risk curve, if we want to start venturing a little bit further, I think meme coins probably are one of the safest best for this cycle. The top performers tend to continue being the top performers when it comes to a trade. Like the last cycle, it was the alt layer 1 trade, the Ethereum killer trade. So there was Solana, there was Luna, there was Avalanche. They all did like hundreds of X's over the course of the cycle. In this cycle, it's looking like meme coins are the L1 trade. Like a 50-50 split with Solana and Dog with Hat, that can probably deliver a 10x overall, but obviously that's too much diversification. We probably want to spread our bets a little bit. Some other options when it comes to kind of meme coins that I think have very good upside, I would be looking at runes actually. And if you haven't watched my runes videos, or you don't know much about runes, I'd recommend you watch that, because I kind of dive into each of the different runes. I think I have a couple of videos on runes, but if you want to find out which one is the best, which one suits you the best, I do think runes have a good opportunity. They have a good narrative for this bull cycle, even though they don't really make any sense. There's no point to them. They do have a good narrative, and I think they could, potentially make up 10% of your portfolio, because they have very, very good upside, being quite low market cap, being a entirely new asset class on the biggest blockchain. Like, it doesn't take a huge amount of brain power to realize that could potentially be a good opportunity. So we've eliminated Bitcoin and Ethereum. Maybe you can leave them as 10% of your bag, but we've said 40% of your bag, Solana and Coinbase stock. Further down the risk curve, we went with meme coins. Again, they can be anywhere from 20 to 30 of the top meme coins, 20 to 30% of your portfolio. Further down the risk curve, I'll kind of lump everything that I'm mentioning from now on in the same bucket, but runes we mentioned could be like 10% of your portfolio. Like, this is if you want to get that 10x overall. Like, I think runes can easily 20x, like the top ones could 10 to 20x easily over the course of the bull cycle. What else is in the Bitcoin ecosystem that could deliver these such returns? Taking a little bit more risk, I would be looking at ordinals as well. Ordinals actually make a lot more sense than runes, in my opinion. Although NFTs and ordinals haven't got the same kind of narrative that meme coins do at the moment. I do think by the end of the bull cycle, and everyone's really rich, they'll want to be flexing their digital assets again. They'll want to be flexing their really rare CryptoPunks. And this time, for the first time, they'll be able to flex their really rare ordinals. So ordinals, if you don't know, they're basically NFTs. They're JPEGs on top of Bitcoin, and they actually make a lot more sense than NFTs because they're fully inscribed on chain. They're immutable forever on the biggest blockchain, the most decentralized blockchain, and the safest blockchain. So they actually do make a lot of sense from an investment perspective. So any of the top ordinals there could be an interesting bet. So that would be Node Monkeys, Bitcoin Puppets, and OMBs and Quantum Cats. Now, it's kind of hard to tell which one is the best investment at this opportunity or this moment in time right away, but that is another category that we'll be looking at, and you have to make your own decision on which of those you think has the best upside or which has the best risk to reward. Now, moving even further down the risk curve, because we can put in 5% of our portfolio or 2 or 3% of our portfolio into some of these plays and hope for 20 to 40 exits and really raise up our potential returns. Now, another asset class or another category or niche within crypto that I'm very bullish on for this cycle. So there's obviously meme coins, there's obviously the Bitcoin ecosystem, and those two niches and categories have already been performing really, really well. But the other category, one of the biggest categories potential that I've been saying for the last year, that I think is going to be absolutely huge in this cycle, is of course AI. So I would be looking at AI coins, and AI coins, there's a lot of them. They're very difficult to analyze, so they take a lot of work. A lot of the time they take a lot of work to actually understand them because they're quite complex. So it's kind of hard to pick the best ones, but I'll just rattle off a few and you can watch my previous videos on them. But probably the safest one would probably be something like Render. That's probably the safest AI coin. I would also say something like Arweave, which I discussed as well, and that's already been performing so well because you're going to be getting the AO token soon, which is, another AI coin that you'll get for holding Arweave. But they're kind of the safer, lower risk ones. Further down the risk curves, these are the kind of ones that I actually hold. I'd be looking at Spectral. This is a new AI coin on Base. I have a big bag of Prime, which you're just being able to stake to earn the prompt token. So I've done videos on these before, so if you want to dive further into it. And Pepe coin, because you can stake that to earn based AI. Now they're my bags there, so they're a little bit further down the risk curve, but there is a lot of AI coins. Maybe Nosana as well should get a look in as well, but there's less risky ones at the top like Arweave and Render that have already been performing very well, but maybe you have to look further down the risk curve and look at stuff like Prime and look at stuff like Based AI and Spectral maybe. But I do think having a bit of exposure to AI or having a bit of understanding on which are the top AI coins, like the AI and meme coins, the ceiling on those two categories, and ordinals like flexing your wealth, like the ceiling on those categories, there essentially is no ceiling. And that's the kind of investments we want to make. We don't want to make investments in DeFi where you can extrapolate the revenues and there is some sort of valuation metric tying it to earth. When people want to flex, they want to flex the most fancy thing and they're willing to pay any price at the top of a bull run. So that's why ordinals and Bitcoin runes and meme coins, like meme coins obviously have no ceiling, and AI as well just probably doesn't have a ceiling either, because it's just completely narrative based, and AI is going to continue being such a huge narrative over the next year. Right, let's start moving even further down the risk curve, and we're going to be talking about meme coins again. Instead of talking about the top meme coins, I want you to also consider, like, you're going to have to construct this portfolio yourself. I'm just laying out what I think have the highest opportunity or the highest potential upsides, and you kind of have to work out your ratios and how you want to allocate, and if you want to allocate to any of these. But I think all of these asset classes could be held over the course of the bull run, and a lot of these, like with a mixture of all of these bags, some of them might not do very well, but some of them could do extraordinarily well, and that's kind of the idea. But you also still have your core bag. Okay, so let's move a little bit further down the risk curve, and this is an idea that I've been saying since last year, like 8 months ago or something, and the idea is to own the top meme coin on any chain that you're bullish on. So like potentially you're bullish on a few chains, a few small new chains. Some examples of the chains that I'm bullish on, that I'm interested in, that I think will perform well for this cycle are obviously Bitcoin ecosystem. So the top runes there, I'd be bullish on Solana, obviously. I don't think we need to get into the top meme coins there, but I'd also be bullish on smaller chains like Base, Blast, and even Hyperliquid. Like, these are some of the other chains that I'd be bullish on and want to own the top meme coins there. And I'll mention the top meme coin on Blast. It's PacMoon, and that's only like 100 million valuation. If you're bullish on Blast, which, it probably makes sense to be bullish on Blast, given Pac-Man is one of the top founders in the space at the moment, and like offering so many incentives to use his chain. Also Base, there's a good few top meme coins there, but my favorite is Toshi, because I've been in that since literally day one. That's named after Brian Armstrong's cat, so I like that. And Hyperliquid, the top meme coin there, that's a bit of a smaller chain, that's a bit of a smaller bet, but I am interested in that chain as well. And the top meme coin there is Per, and I did a full video on that if you're interested. Some other smaller bets that I'd be looking at is, as I keep saying, I'm bullish on the Solana ecosystem. I still think Solana is the trade of the cycle, and any products, any apps being built on Solana, I think that team like at least made one good decision by building on Solana. So they were able to make that decision when potentially that decision wasn't very obvious at the time. Like a year ago, that decision seemed crazy. Everyone thought Solana would die, and any team that was able to make that decision and start building during the bear market on Solana, they're probably quite smart. So the Solana ecosystem I'd be looking at, like in this cycle, obviously there's the last few cycles, everyone has been investing in infrastructure plays, everyone has been investing in new layer 2s, new layer 1s, new infrastructures. But I'm hoping, and I think in this cycle, there'll be a lot more investment opportunities in cool apps. So like examples of apps that have been picking up on Blast is like Fantasy Top. Apps that have been picking up on Base is like Friendtech. And finally, like, apps are what crypto, like, that's what the end consumer is going to actually be using at the end of the day. That's what's going to make crypto interesting. So there are some apps on and products on Solana being built right now. Like, we could talk about only one. Ticker is Like, and that's essentially the OnlyFans of Solana. And obviously this got a huge amount of backlash, this got a huge amount of attention, and this got a huge amount of controversy on Twitter, which is a good thing. The more attention something gets, the better. Like, if all press is good press, you know what I mean? Another potential app, like, these are just some ideas. I would be looking in the Solana ecosystem for any good apps like yourself, but these are just some that I'm interested in, I've been looking at. Now, these are tiny positions for me at the moment because, you know, we're early in the cycle and these apps haven't proved themselves, and the investing in apps thesis hasn't really been playing out yet. But another potential app that could do well is Soul Casino, and that's like Rollbit, but it's on Solana, obviously, and it's actually quite a good application. Now, you might be thinking, oh, he's chilling, gambling and porn and whatever, but, you know, these are kind of the first things that are going to do well on an immutable public blockchain, where it's harder to regulate, it's harder to block payments. There was a big controversy on Twitter like a couple of weeks ago because I think Belle Delphine, some OnlyFans girl, was selling her bath water and taking payments via PayPal, which isn't illegal. It's very weird, but it's not illegal, and PayPal blocked her payments and basically took her 70 grand that she had made for selling her bath water. So obviously, you know, porn and gambling and crime, like, the first people to adopt blockchains and new technology are those kind of industries. So we're starting to see that now, but eventually all industries will come onto blockchains. But at the moment, it's kind of these first movers that have to be on new technologies, that have to be on immutable and less regulated places. They're the first companies and products to move on to blockchains, and potentially that could be this cycle now, finally. But it's not just porn, sex, drugs and all that will be on blockchain. There's also some interesting apps like Chat, which is like you're able to chat over the Solana blockchain, which is a pretty cool product. Also Hive Mapper, I've done a full video on that, but that's like a decentralized mapping, makes like Google Maps a decentralized Google Maps where you can earn tokens for helping to build out the mapping network, which is really, really cool. And, you know, there's plenty of cool, interesting apps. DePIN as an entire category on Solana, that definitely deserves a mention as well. So in regards to DePIN on Solana, there's Hive Mapper, there's Helium with the decentralized mobile network, and Render with the decentralized compute network. So DePIN is also a little category I'd be looking at investing in because, you know, it makes a huge amount of sense, and it's one of the actual killer use products for blockchains, and I think Solana is the best suited towards DePIN. So you can watch my video on DePIN there. I think I did a couple of videos on it. Another app with actual good utility is Whales Market. Now, I've done a video on that, I don't want to get into it too much, but yeah, they're kind of some of the consumer apps and useful things being built on blockchains, all within the Solana ecosystem. Now, that's where I'd kind of be paying attention myself, but you can come up with your own theses. Like, I think Base and maybe even Blast, but probably Base is going to have some killer apps as well. It's already had a few killer apps like Farcaster and Friendtech have already been really, really popular and done very well on Base. So Base could be somewhere else you're looking at for these kind of consumer apps that could really pop off. Let's wrap it up with the most highly degenerate stuff, and that of course would be like the low market cap meme coins. So you could lump in things like the political meme coins. So there's like Trump, Bowden, even one that I'm in is Trump's vice president coin. I think it's called Scut instead of Tim Scott. It's Scut. But you know, that's obviously a shorter term trade. You sell that before the election happens, so I think that's in 6 months or so. But you could be looking at these low cap meme coins like cat coins. Need to have a catch up on dog coins. So there'd be stuff like Popcat. which I'm invested in, you know, that's going to have potentially more upside, or whatever top cat coin that you like on Solana is probably where I'd be looking. But I think there's Shark Cat, Michi, all of these kind of lower market cap cat coins could have a catch up on dog coins, and that could be a very strong category. Obviously that sounds very stupid, but you know, let's be realistic. We all know that meme coins have probably the highest upside in this bull market. I think that's kind of wrapping up how you can have the hands-off 10x portfolio. So once you've kind of constructed your 10x portfolio, like that's the portfolio that you just leave it alone and let it run its course for the bull market. You have these kind of small bets within it, and you just kind of leave them and see if they deliver that 100x return, but you still have your core bags there. And then if you want, you can have a separate portfolio, and this is where you can turn your 10x overall in your portfolio into a 20x overall, because with 10% of your portfolio, you try and get 100x on that. So that's where you're trying out new apps. That's where you're buying these new meme coins. That's where you're trying out the next NFTs before they become the big trade of the cycle. So that could have been Ordinals, that could have been runes, like that could have been Solana meme coins, whatever. There's going to be something new in this bull cycle. There's always something new that turns out to be a huge deal. So with 10% of your portfolio, you're trying out these new things, but it's really handy. It's really nice to know that you have your portfolio that, like, obviously there's a lot of gambles in your core portfolio, but overall there's a good chance that it could 10x over the course of the year without needing too much work being put into it. And then you can gamble, like degenerately gamble with the 10% of your portfolio as well. With the 10% of your portfolio, you're looking for the next whiff. You're looking for the next Pepe. You're looking for the next bonk as well. Like there's a new meme coin season every few months. I think last year there was, probably this time last year, maybe even more than a year ago, Pepe was the meme coin that led a huge season of meme coins, and that was all on Ethereum. It was a huge meme coin season on Ethereum, all led by one coin. Then we had Bonk, and there was a small meme coin season being led by Bonk, which eventually led to another meme coin season being led by Whiff. And every single season there's a new cult meme coin that leads the way. And if you can find that one new cult lead coin, meme coin, early enough, like, you don't need to be in it, like, you don't need to be the first person in it. You just need to recognize that this one is the leader of this meme coin season, and that's where you can get really strong, relatively safe returns when it comes to meme coins. So I really hope that helps. That kind of, I spilled out everything from my brain on how I would construct a 10x portfolio if that's what I was going for. Now, that's not necessarily what I'm going for. I'm not taking as much risk as that. I have a decent bag of Bitcoin as well, but that's kind of how I would think about it, how I would construct it if that's what I was going for. And hopefully that gives you a bit of help in constructing your own. I don't want you to copy me. Like, some of these plays are very risky. Some of them could be completely stupid, but that's kind of how I would be thinking it. I really hope you enjoyed the video. I hope you got a lot of value, and I'll catch you in the next one. Thank you so much for watching. Bye.